Hi, everyone, and welcome to the episode 25 of Life Around Us.
Like to introduce yourself first of all?
Yeah. Okay. Oh my God, I'm nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous because I've done this before and I used to do the live videos. Okay. My name is Nesrin Haymour. Usually my friends call me Naso. My cabin crew, I work for Emirates in business class. I've been living in Dubai for 7 years. And I also teach English. Volunteering, actually, I don't charge for it, for people who dream of becoming a cabin crew. And I also try my best to inspire people to never give up on their dreams, especially when they want to join aviation. I struggled a lot and I don't like to see people struggling as well.
That's great. That's great. And that's such a great initiative that you have took, that although I'm sure that you don't have time, but still you are, trying your best, to teach English to the people who, doesn't know how to speak it. And that's really great. And also I can understand your struggles because I'm from a family who has a background of aviation. So like I exactly know that it's not easy, I'm sure, any field of it. So my father is an air traffic controller. My grandfather was an air traffic controller. So I have this history. I know how things are, how, day and night means nothing. When you're on call, you're on call. So
Exactly. And I mean, I'm a woman and I come from a Muslim background. I mean, we're Muslims. So
yeah.
for them, it's a little difficult to accept that idea that I'm a cabin crew travel alone. So it was a bit of struggle.
I'm sure, because I'm sure there's always, myths and facts about every places, and the majority are myths, I think. So, it's easier for people to don't have a background to say things than to know them.
Exactly.
It's
They
very
still judge a lot the profession. There's a lot of judging.
exactly. But you're doing great, I would say. Just keep doing it. So
Thank you.
I want to ask you that, how would you cope up, like, with being away from your friends and family for a prolonged period of time? How does it feel?
It's not easy. That's one of the hardest parts of being a cabin crew. I've seen a lot of people resigning because of that, because they think they're going to be okay. And when they come to Dubai, they cannot see their family every month. They end up leaving everything behind and just, they don't even finish a contract and they leave. But for me, it's hard, but I already know how to deal with it because we don't have a routine. We live based on a roster. And you end up missing I eat with families, Christmas or my mom's birthday, this kind of small little events that you want to be with them and you can't. A lot of time I cry. We do Zoom, we do WhatsApp call, and I'm always crying in the background. That's the profession that I chose, so I cannot complain. I knew it was going to be like this. It's not easy, but that's the job, that's part of it. I have to accept it.
I'm sure they're also proud of you. So I want to ask you, what skills do you think are important for a flight attendant?
Well, first, of course, English. You need to have a good English to be a flight attendant. Also, teamwork. When you apply for a flight attendant job, you go through a 3 days interview.
Okay.
And this interview involves a lot of dynamic groups. So if you don't know how to work in a team, you're out. If you fail the dynamic group, you will never make it. So dynamic group, teamwork, English, of course, customer service. The airline gives you that training as well for customer service because we're dealing with people from all over the world, right?
Exactly.
So this is all the skills that you need. Some people say you need university, but not really. You don't need, as long as you have a good personality, a good English. Of course, you do a psychological test as well, so you need to be fit to fly. That's more than enough.
Okay, that's great. So also I want to ask that since COVID has arrived, it's been like almost 2 years, I think. So how would you describe your experience, throughout this time? How was it really difficult? Because like how things are with flights and everything. So also, do you think that people are also following the protocols?
You mean during COVID?
Yeah, like during their flights, like during, and I'm sure it must be hard for you people also, to manage things, how to just sanitize the whole, things that get sanitized after every, I'm sure, departure and every, another flight. So how are things for that? Because I think that that is something that everyone would like to know, because I'm sure it's a hard time for everyone.
It is. And COVID hit aviation hardly. It was very bad for us. I mean, for every single airline in the world, I'm sure. They even had to fire a lot of people. But then when things were slightly going back to the new normal, no, it's not even normal. Of course, we had a lot of rules, the mask, the sanitization and everything, and it's hard for passengers to follow it. I understand the mask is terrible, we cannot breathe with it, but it's a requirement and we have to follow rules.
Exactly.
We have to keep chasing them around the aircraft to keep their masks on. Sometimes they pretend that they're drinking something just to keep it down. Of course, we do the sanitization. We keep going around the cabin and do it. A lot of passengers as well, they ask us if the aircraft was sanitized before because they have a little bit of concern. And the other passengers, they don't really care.
Exactly.
There are some...
So there are mixed, all kind of people.
Exactly. You meet all kind of people and each one has a different idea about COVID and you cannot please everyone.
Exactly.
But we have rules we have to follow and it's not easy to make them all follow. Especially there are some countries that they need to wear visors on the plane.
Okay.
And they don't want to do that. And we have to be assertive with them for them to keep it on. It's a requirement. We have to do it. There are some countries that now you don't require to wear a mask outside, and they were like, but we don't wear masks outside. Why do we have to wear it on the plane? And then you have to explain to them and be patient and all this.
I know. Oh, that's...
But it's a pandemic. What to do?
Exactly. No, that's a very difficult thing to do, and I'm sure because we are someone who are just staying at home and just hearing people do. But I'm sure you guys are over there. There's no option. You guys have to tell them to do this, and of course, even though they don't agree, then you have to be very polite and gentle all the time. I think that's also
exactly. And it's not easy for us either because we have to use this gown. We use a gown and we wear visors and masks. We cannot remove our mask for like a 15 hours flight. We go sometimes to the toilet to have a deep breath and then we come back, because if we remove it, they will see that we removed it and they will want to do the same. So we have to be very careful what we do as well. So yeah, it's been challenging. COVID, even the service changed. We have to wrap everything. The bread comes wrapped, the meals comes wrapped. So it hasn't been easy, but we're surviving so far.
Exactly. No, that's actually really hats off to you guys. It's really hard. I don't think it's really easy. Just saying it may be easy, but doing it every day, it's just
Exactly.
So can you tell us something about the English course that you started? Is it like for your people throughout, like are you at just doing it on online, something on a platform, and or is it for specifically any people, and how does it work for anyone if they were willing to?
I used to get so many messages on Instagram, people asking me what to do with the English. I mean, mostly Brazilian. I lived in Brazil for 4 years, and in Brazil there's a lot of poverty, and there's a lot of people who dream about having a better life and they can't afford it.
Exactly.
They can't study, they don't have access to books. A lot of them don't have access to internet in their own homes. They have to go somewhere public to use their internet.
I'm sure.
So when I was living in Brazil, I was struggling as well because I don't come from a background where my family had money. They never did. And in Brazil, they have a thing that you need to go through a cabin crew course before becoming a cabin crew.
Okay.
And for you to do this course, you need the money, you need to pass an exam as well, and you also need to have a good English. How are people gonna study good English if they don't even have access to internet?
Exactly.
Or they don't have access to book, and they cannot even travel. So during the quarantine, I stayed 6 months grounded because of COVID, and I decided that I should do something with the free time that I had. I know a lot of people charge for the English courses, but when I was in this position 7 years ago, I did not have any penny to do a course. I knew English, but I needed to improve it, and still I didn't have money to go for an English course so I could improve it. So I took the decision, I posted on my Instagram that I would be giving free English classes for people in need. And then it started to rain messages from people who actually, I went through a background check with them, and they were really living in favelas and in really not very good conditions. So we started doing this English thing. I do a Zoom call with them Sometimes it's half an hour, sometimes it's 1 hour, depending on what they need. And we start from zero most of the time. And yeah, I'm just preparing them till airlines start hiring again. Because I mean, sometimes I feel that's the only thing they have. Like, I'm the little piece of hope they have.
Well, I wish they appreciate that. I think that's that's such a nice thought that you even thought about it. To give it like for free and because I think you do understand that how they feel, and they must be exhausted. They want to learn something, but they don't have access to things. So that's really challenging for them as well. But
and I always say English is not just for aviation. English is for life. So if they have an English in their CV, they can find any good job in Brazil. They don't actually need to travel. So that's a really good thing for them. Whatever I do, I just do it for them to have a better life. Everyone deserves to have a better life.
Definitely. No, I really appreciate that thought of you. That's great. So I want to ask you next. Okay, there are like few rapid fire kind of questions. You can just give as small answer as you want, no problem. So how would you deal with a passenger who refuses to follow any kind of rules?
Oh my this happens all the time. Sure. And we give the passenger many chances to actually follow our rules. Yeah. But if after all the chances we've given him, he's still not following the rules, we restrain him.
Really?
I know it's very harsh to say, but if that passenger...
Yeah. I'm sure that they must have taken you guys to that level that you have to do that, because
exactly. And they think that this will never happen, but it does happen, because we are trained to deal with passengers like this. Like, they train us how to put a passenger down, women, because there's 500 passengers in that plane. You have no idea who they are or what can they do, what they're going through in life. Sometimes they snap. So they train us how to defend ourselves, what to do in case a passenger gets abusive, or in case he endangers himself or the safety of people around him. We give him many warnings before restraining him, many. At the end, we even have a restraint kit on board, actually, because if it happens, we put him down and we tie him, and at the end, he can deal with the police on ground. This is in extreme cases. Yeah, that doesn't happen every time.
I'm sure we all have been, traveling here and there, and we have an idea, because, I'm sure the level must be, like a lot to bear that what he is doing. So
exactly. Start drinking. That's it. There's always one, but sometimes we don't do the restraining. But if they keep not following our rules, there's nothing we can do, especially if they're not endangering themselves. Exactly. We handle him on ground to the police.
Yeah, no, that's right. I totally agree. So any experience you had, you want to share when there's any emergency on the flight? Does it ever happen in your experience?
Yeah, I've been through a lot of things inside the plane, because people usually think we only do chicken or beef, but it's actually not. It's the whole package. I thought life was gonna be beautiful. I was just gonna go through the airport with my red lipstick and high heels, take pictures and say chicken or beef, but it wasn't. A cabin crew life is not this.
Because actually the personality when the cabin crew comes, when they goes like that with their briefcase and the suitcases, they have a personality, of course. I'm sure it looks amazing. It looks very attractive, and it looks really nice. But yeah, I'm sure it's a lot to do behind that.
Yeah, but that's the outside.
Exactly.
The inside, we go through a lot. Like, there is emergencies, of course. I've been through a lot, but I cannot talk about them.
Yeah.
But I can say that death on board happens a lot. I have had death on board at least 3 already. Passengers die in front of you, and you try to help them. You do everything you can, but especially when they have families with them. Especially, imagine a person dying in front of you and their families are just next to him having a heart attack or anything else, or drug overdose. It does happen a lot. Also, childbirth, someone delivering on board. It never happened to me, but it does.
Yeah, like it does. So yeah, no.
Rejected take off. Sometimes you want to take off or you want to land and it's rejected, and then you feel the airplane going up all over again. Your heart stops.
Exactly.
So those are all flight emergencies that usually happens to us, but we don't talk about them. We're not allowed. We always say what happens inside the aircraft stays inside the aircraft, especially because I still work for the company. But it does happen a lot, and it's not only chicken or beef. We have a really, really tough life, and we have a huge responsibility on our backs. Every flight we have a huge responsibility on our backs. Passengers just don't see it.
I'm sure that's true. So anyone you want to recommend, or you want me to, like anyone you want to recommend me to take next as my guest, anyone you would, could be anyone. You can suggest anyone.
Yeah, it's someone that I never met in my life, but I follow her on Instagram and she's been inspiring me. Her name is Dana Azizi. She has a page called The Rebel Chronicles. She inspires women around the world to work and be themselves and beat a lot of things in life, insecurities. And she's a businesswoman. She was living in Lebanon, now she's in Canada, and she's really a role model for me. So it was so nice to
I would love
her.
to, if you would like to share the link of her link later with me, I'm definitely going to do that. Because, the point of having people is like, even I don't know how much the audience enjoys it, but honestly, I enjoy it a lot, because I get to talk with people all around the world. We get to talk about all the topics, you get to know more about, I think, life, more about people, more about professions around. Because the most of the thing, it's like you don't know the inside, so you're just, assuming things. But when you talk to them, you know how difficult or how,
Exactly. No, I love that. Yeah, I went through your Instagram and I went through everything. I was like, wow, I never thought about this. It's such a good, yeah.
Thank you. Because, once someone messaged me that, why don't you take over celebrities? I was like, everyone takes celebrities. I know, it's hard to juggle with celebrities, but still, there are a lot of people who we need to give attention to. They're not only celebrities. I just keep saying that every time that, there's
exactly.
celebrities we want to talk to, we want to know more about. They're normal people who are really working good, who are doing good. So yeah, I just love talking to you. I think we shared a very good vibe. I don't know, I just could feel.
I love you too. We should do this more.
Yeah. So, but not too far. Like, see, Dubai and Bahrain, not too far. So yeah, inshallah, would love to see you sometime. And we'd like to say anything before we just wind it up.
Just thank you so much for calling me, for inviting me. I really enjoyed it. And I hope to see you one day in Bahrain.
Definitely.
It's in my bucket.
Definitely.
And I hope to see
keep in touch.
In Dubai and stuff.
Definitely.
And thank you so much for doing this. I loved it because I went through your profile and I saw a lot of people that I was like, oh my God, where were those people, and their lives, their profession, what they do. And it's really a good idea. And I hope that people keep getting inspired with what you're doing.
Exactly, because there's maybe some people who would like to be, like a cabin crew, but they are struggling with something. So maybe they see you, maybe they get, that thing. Or maybe, when you, like when you're finding like like-minded people, you want to talk to them. So at times you're juggling, you don't know how to and who to talk to. So maybe, they find people, they interact with you, they, get some guidance. I think life is about positivity. It's not about, how much money you make or how much fame you have. It's just about, in which way we can just spread positivity through. So,
and this is an amazing way you're doing. I loved it. Congratulations.
much. So I would love to see you around someday and keep in touch. And thank you so much for joining.
I hope so. Thank you so
much. I hope you have a good day and a good rest. And
you too. I see you around.
Same here. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.